Favre shit going on. Like,
yeah,
I can definitely see Derek Carr just like
sliding to not get killed.
Yeah,
because the left tackles like Colton Miller and Trent Brown are going to get abused, and that interior offensive line is going to get abused if they start doing stunts with him and Leonard Floyd, who's also freakishly athletic, and like long, like an athletic. He's what Alden Smith could have been in his prime, from a coverage standpoint.
Who's that?
Leonard Floyd, because he definitely isn't the pass rusher that Alden Smith was. But coverage-wise, yeah. And Roquan Smith is playing.
In other Raider news and linebacker adjacent news this week, Vontaze Burfict caught a suspension for a hit on Indianapolis Colts tight end Jack Doyle.
Caught a body.
Ultimately, the NFL ruled that based off of his resume, I think he's had 7 suspensions since he came into the league. He had like 22. He had, I want to say, 22 personal fouls in 37 games at ASU. I played against him for Centennial. Like, his reputation precedes itself for sure, but for him to catch a whole 12 games?
Rest of the season.
12 games? Based off of that, and then you got other guys who play for certain teams in Cleveland and in Kansas City who do questionable things off the field.
A lot.
Who are still playing, but yet all of a sudden the NFL has the moral compass to kick somebody out who's basically been trained and bred to be a physical
headhunter.
Do you think the punishments or the fines or what are you calling them? Like when they
This is a suspension.
Okay, so the suspensions, like, do you think it's worse when they do stuff on field or off field? Like, do you think
I think
that
it's
the
worse.
NFL, like, they're more lenient on like off field compared to on field, or vice versa?
I think it's worse off the field, but the NFL is trying to play catch up so much on player safety and PR of making it look like they care about people's concussions, even though they denied it for decades, that now they're trying to now they're overcompensating. Now they're doing things, they're finding people for hits that even Tom Brady's like, that's not a penalty, or this sort of incidents where they're trying to set an example on Vontaze Burfict, but this one example isn't going to be enough to change what is already a culture that has been built up. Like, he's a year older than me. Like, we grew up in a generation of where that, hitting someone in the middle is commonplace, especially if they're tight end who, Doyle could have avoided that hit 100%. All he had to do was lay on his back. He didn't do that. He tried to roll over and get up and stand up. What else is he supposed to do? So for everyone saying, yeah, Vontaze Burfict lowered his head a little bit for sure, but Doyle didn't stand still, so it's not like he was aiming his head directly at his head. It's just Doyle got up, was moving forward, and so their heads collided.
He's not a defenseless receiver, as the rule book would say.
Exactly, yeah.
Because,
there you go. That's the way
Marlon Humphrey straight up just mounted and choked the shit out of Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
We all watched it happen. I don't know what the crawl was, and I posted it on the social media account earlier this week, but I'm just saying, I should read off the funniest responses because they were pretty fucked up. You know what? Nah, I'll save it. But bottom line is, he straight up just strangled Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, 2 hands around his neck, firmly planted, arms locked out, just choking the shit out of Odell. And the Ravens lost that game 40-25. Still odd and confusing to me. And he didn't get suspended. I don't even think he got fined. So it's a dude got strangled.
It's just hypocritical.
It's weird what they choose to enforce and who they want to enforce it on. And when it comes down to off the field, we already know, they don't know how to handle or just don't care about domestic violence issues. Clearly, when it comes to issues of family quarrels and troubles, women getting beat up, kids getting beat up, NFL the group of people you really want handling that. But when it comes to on the field, they're the biggest hypocrites. Biggest hypocrites whatsoever. You breathe on a quarterback. You can't finish through a tackle on a quarterback, but you can finish through a tackle on a running back. A running back can run you over. If you look at the hit on Jordan Howard, I think it was Jordan Howard. No, it wasn't. It was a running back for the Eagles though. The Packers. My bad. The Packers-Eagles game. Jamal Williams, running back for the Packers, got hit late. That was dirty.
I'll put it to you like in common terms like this, right? So it would be like if all of a sudden the government was like, the max speed limit is 35. And it's like, so everybody else who's been driving 70 for the past 30 years now has to go 35.
So now they're switching up, like,
and then
kind of like the whole helmet thing, like you guys were talking about with AB. Like, you were so used to doing it this way, and it's okay. It's been okay for a long time. So why now all of a sudden you want to switch things up? Which
is okay because, like, yeah, you're supposed to adapt, and yeah, it's changing and it's changing over time, but like, you still can't hold that new standard versus like people who grew up in the old way, if that makes sense. Like, he came into the league in 2013, which is like the first year the NFL even acknowledged football had anything to do with concussions.
So my last question, do you think that these new standards and new rules, do you think that it's another way for the NFL to profit from their players?
No, not necessarily, because I mean, I don't think they really profit from,
or like not from their players, but another way to kind of like keep them in check and keep their profits in place.
I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, I made this comparison like jokingly, but it's just kind of like, I mean, if you look at it in terms of like PR, maybe like, okay, it's like the OJ situation, like, this guy beat murder, so now let's get him for this other thing that's like not that bad, but we're gonna make it bad because like of these circumstances. Like, you could do that with anything, like, but at the end of the day, like, that individual hit, that individual play shouldn't have been the tipping point for the ultimate result that happened. But yeah, anything else you want to say on that before we move on, Kenny?
Nah, man, same old NFL.
Pretty much. All right, last thing I want to talk about before we close out. Stephon Diggs has reportedly been more than disgruntled in Minnesota for a while. He's been really cryptic on social media. He's been kind of disengaged. He's frustrated with not getting the ball. Even Adam Thielen is calling out Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is apologizing. Like, there's just a lot of shit going on in Minnesota because they're 500 and not where they want to be.
A Super Bowl level defense, and arguably a Super Bowl level offense with Dalvin Cook.
And they were one play away from the Super Bowl 2 years ago, pre Kirk Cousins. So I think that's where the rub is.
And their QB is just bad. Like, that's why completion percentages, especially in today's NFL, are really overrated, because you got guys completing 75% of their passes with like 6 touchdowns, but like 8 interceptions. I'm just throwing out random numbers, but you get my drift. The fact, and Thielen said, we could have the best running back in the league, rush for 180 yards a game. We still need to be able to actually fundamentally pass the ball, and they can't do that. You have 2 of the best receivers in the league, a serviceable tight end, Irv Smith, who's a young, promising tight end. All you have to do is just get those 4 people the ball and hand it to Dalvin Cook.
And you
can't do that.
Yeah, and I think the other issue is, Kirk Cousins is supposed to be the thing that got them over the hump, and now he's kind of the thing weighing them down.
Fool's gold.
He's getting all that money.
Scott Mitchell.
So, yeah, it's kind of a mess.
He's the final reincarnation of Scott Mitchell.
So, officially, Stephon Diggs has not demanded a trade. The Vikings haven't said that they're trading him, but he's clearly upset. It's clearly not really where it wants to be. So, like, where do you think would be a good spot for him, KB?
The Raiders.
The Raiders, but I wouldn't give up a first round pick for him.
Yeah, he was a 5th round pick.
I'm not giving up a first round pick.
I give him a 3rd.
Problem is, the Raiders have already wasted their past 2 3rd-round picks on Steelers receivers, so
And it might
I
just
really
have to
don't
be
think
a
that's
2/4.
And I don't think Minnesota's going to trade him for a 4th. I think they want a 1. So, I mean, maybe New England. I don't even know if they have a 1.
They have too many receivers. They have too many receivers, bro.
Never been a problem for them. They like
if
it that way.
anything, I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers did that.
They're not trading within the division, so cross that off.
You never know.
No, that's not happening.
I know, I'm kidding. But I think the Saints.
Again, I don't think that would happen. That's why I'm saying I
wouldn't
really
be a
don't think
radical
he's gonna get
trade.
traded.
I don't think he's going to get traded
Yeah, I
either,
don't think
but
he's gonna get traded.
it would be
he
a
just got a
radical
deal
move.
before last season, so
It would be a radical move. Someone would have to move him and be like, all right, we're going to pay him. But we're giving up our next first-round pick.
If anything, what would be more interesting is if they try to move Kirk Cousins or try to move for a QB.
You're not moving Kirk Cousins. So who's paying him that much money?
You're not, but you never know.
San Francisco might be their best bet.
Surprised me. Denver was like,
San Francisco, yeah, Emmanuel Sanders are going to get traded, but I'm not trading Emmanuel Sanders for Stephon Diggs, who's clearly the better version of Emmanuel Sanders.
So on that note, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
My fantasy team is in shambles.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? You want Serve to go first?
Doesn't matter.
I really don't have much to say. I already said what I had to say, so.
Let Serve go first.
Go ahead. Just say whatever you want to say. If you don't want to say nothing, you
say
can
what
pass.
you need to say, like John Mayer.
It's been a month. I'm sure there's some shit you have to say.
You've been away.
No, not really. I mean, everything that I had to say and do was on my Instagram. Other than that,
Which is?
Yeah.
My Instagram is Swerve, SWERV _CERV THO. Oh, wait. No, sorry. It is Swerve Serve, though. Okay, so SWERV CERV _THO. So Swerve Serve, though. Sorry, yeah. So follow there. It's on my highlight.
Giving the wrong.
It's on my highlight, and yeah. So I guess I'll see you guys next Thursday. And sorry, I've been out of the loop. I'm still dealing with jet lag and adjusting, so I'll be back to my normal self next Thursday.
So high and late.
High and late, per usual.
All right.
Pork belly.
You want to go next,
Pork
Kenny, or
belly.
you want me to go?
I'll go. So funny thing happened this past week. I finally got my college diploma in the mail. And it's weird because backstory, I went to a little post center to get my mail. I got a package, open that shit. When I get home, it's a freaking a bicycle helmet meant for like a little kid. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I got an email saying my diploma went out, and now I have a bicycle helmet. What kind of bullshit is this? This is a sick, dirty game. Go back to the post office. They're like, oh, somebody wrote permanent marker on the thing. We gave you the wrong one. I was like, yeah, no shit. I wanted a diploma, not a bicycle helmet. I don't even have a bike. So whatever. Anyway, get home. My mom comes back home. She got home Monday night from being in Oakland for like a week, seeing my grandma. And my mom holds my diploma in her hand, just starts weeping and crying. And like, she's smiling and she's like, I'm so proud of you, and hugged me really tight. Like, you know when your mom hugs you really tight, like, and it's just melting in your arms? That kind of hug. Like, normally, like I said, I look at my degree, I honestly don't feel anything other than vindicated. And people know what I went through, know what I mean by that. And also just, I felt like it was a reaffirmation of like everything that I've been saying all these years about what I was going to do in my life and where things were going to go. And it just felt like that I fucking told you so moment. Like that chip on my shoulder felt like it kind of fell off a little bit. And looking at my mom, seeing her smile, my sister smile, crying, sad and shit, and being really happy and overwhelmed, it kind of made me realize, you know what?